And would you like to find out where the true source of knowing your significance is? So if you would love to know where that true source is, type me in the comments. Type me. Yeah. I mean, I got to tell you, this was always a tough one for me too. Growing up as the youngest of four, always looking to see where I stood in the lineup and who was getting more attention and what did I have to do to get the right attention. It's learned at an early age and we aren't even conscious of it. So today, the training is about where do you source it, your significance, versus where do you want that source to come from? Because when you tap into the true source of your significance, you're going to get your confidence, you're going to get your strength, and you're going to get your courage, and you're going to get peace, soul peace, knowing your significance at all times, no matter what is going on around you, no matter who is saying what. I mean, how many of you out there find yourself, even I've heard this even from different clients, posting in social media and hoping, right now everything's about how many likes did you get? Or, did somebody favorably respond to this? And then if you don't get what you were hoping for, feeling a little deflated. I've been there. I certainly have, especially because I'm not a person who likes to be out in the public. And I have taught myself because I have a mission. And my mission is greater than than I want my insecurities to be. And so part of that is being on social media. And so I think it's, people are asking, well, how's this doing? How's your social media doing? And there is this natural human, impulse to assess it. And here's the thing though, what I learned is we're not assessing it properly if we're making our significance really based on those types of results. Or maybe there's a certain friend group you'd like to be a part of and you're not included, and you think, well, there's something wrong with you. It takes you down the rabbit hole and you base your significance on that. Well, you feel rejected. I've been there too. That's how I know all of this. And it's not until I really tapped into where that true source comes from that I can stand strong with an inner knowing of where it comes from and really have almost any situation happen and be able to understand and accept. Not always, I'm human. So, but it still happens where I get pulled down, but at least I'm very grateful for having the tools. And so that's what I want to share with you today. That's what we're going to look at. And so let's start out with what is plaguing us, particularly women, is this desire for recognition, this desire. We all have three main things that we're looking for, and that is our significance, to be seen, and to feel wanted, liked, lovable. And here's the problem with this. There's nothing wrong with those things. Where the problem and the issue comes in and the challenge is when we look to source those, the fulfillment of those three things by looking outside of ourselves for that. And it's really, if you understand historically that is how women really gained their significance, was by their beauty and by, how were we perceived? And so that historically was really how we felt into our value. And so as time went on and we evolved and culture evolved, that part of our DNA hasn't quite yet evolved to match the truth. And so that's lingering in us. And that thread of let's look outside of ourselves to see, if how other people view us, how other people receive us, how other people respond to us. And so that's what we want to flip the switch on. That's what we want to flip the switch on. And the thing about this and why it's so important that you be consciously aware of it is because, I'm going to call it the enemy, the dark side, the ego side, the part that wants to pull us away from the truth of who we really are. Very, very familiar with this part of who we are, the enemy is. And so we'll always want to bring up things that create self-doubt, that create a vulnerability around this. And self-doubt is a great one. Worry, anxiety about who we are, which causes us to go to the basic belief that most of us struggle with. Am I enough? Am I enough? It's the basic bottom line belief that we all struggle with. And so even though you may know you are intellectually on a cellular level, if you're experiencing any of these things of really looking outside of yourself, then it's not something that you really know. I used to have a mentor who would say, you may know these principles, but until you're really living them, you don't know them on a cell level. And I think that's where a lot of us are. And myself included, this is a journey. I am right there with you. And so today I want to just base the truth of who you are on this scripture, which is you are altogether beautiful, my darling. There is no flaw in you. And that's Song of Songs 4:7 in NIV. And I love that because what it's really saying is that you are beautiful, warts and all. The what you perceive to be flaws, the good parts, the ugly parts, all of you is beautiful. And so I want to share a story with you of someone that I was coaching who shared this anxiety. And her name is Diana, and she came to me. She was married, had a couple of young children, and she was really at the end of her rope, feeling like her marriage was on the rocks. She felt like she didn't have a voice in her marriage. She felt like she was unworthy. She felt like everything she did was not enough, unappreciated, and she was constantly looking to her husband to validate her. And he wasn't validating her in the ways that made her feel significant or worthy. So it became this hamster wheel. Can any of you relate to that? Maybe it's not a husband or a partner. Maybe it's a parent. Maybe it's a sibling. Maybe it's a boss, but somebody in your life who you look for validation and you're not getting it. And the harder you try, it seems like the more you dig yourself in. If you can relate to that, I want you to write in the chat, yes, yes. I think it is extremely common. I have been coaching for 15 years now, and my experience with clients that I have the privilege to work with, as well as many people who along my career path, I've had the honor and privilege to speak to as well, primarily women. 99% of the people I work with are women. All seem to have that challenge. And so today I really want to do my best to help you turn that around. And so with Diana, as I said, she was struggling, and she was homeschooling her boys, and she felt like she wasn't doing a good enough job. She was giving her all to it, and she was looking for that outside recognition. She was afraid to speak up. She was afraid to use her voice, afraid to set boundaries. And she was really afraid of her husband's judgment and criticism because she was so judgmental and critical of herself. Again, can you relate? If you can, type in, yeah, I can. And so she was really looking for her validation to come from her husband. And that was, for any of us that do that, we're giving our power away. we're giving our power away. And oftentimes that comes with this uneasy feeling in our gut. You know, we feel just like we're in turmoil and we don't know how to get on a foundational grounding again. So the way that we want to do this is the way that I did this with Diana. And that was to really understand where the source of your beauty comes from, to up-level your self-image, because this is all about your self-image. You know, your life is determined on your self-image, and your self-image is based on your beliefs about yourself. So if you are looking outside of yourself, then you are not firmly grounded in the truth. Your beliefs are loosey-goosey about your self-image, and we want to firm those up. And so the best way I know to firm those up is that you want to step into embracing the core essence of who you are, knowing that you are beautiful to the core of your being. That really is how you increase your self-image, is that you understand that, again, it is written. It's written. You are altogether beautiful. What does that mean? What does beautiful mean to you? What does your beauty mean to you? I want you to reflect on that, because according to God, it is every single aspect of you. Did you catch that? I want that to really land for you. Every aspect, what you consider flaws, what you consider, your good points, all of it is beauty according to God. And so that's where you want to source your beauty, because the truth is the fullness and the wholeness of God it's in every cell of your being. It's in your DNA. So if you know that God's beauty, God's wholeness, God's fullness is in the DNA of your very being, every cell of your being, how can you dispute that you are not beautiful to the core of your essence? So you want to let that brilliance of who you are shine through. Shine through. And if you don't build a foundation of truth of who you are going to be on a continual roller coaster, like a drug addict looking for your next fix. Who's going to validate me? Who's going to make me feel okay? And if I don't get it, it's going to upset my whole day. It's going to upset my mood. And then I'm not going to be able to show up as the best mom. I'm not going to be able to show up as in my business as the best me. Or if you work for somebody, I'm not going to be able to show up at my job as the best me. I'm not going to be able to be the best friend or daughter if I give my power away and let somebody else determine my value. See, it's all right in here, right in here. You've got it. And you've got this. You just want to own it. I love the statue of David. Michelangelo was presented with this block of marble, right? And he had this vision of David. So the David didn't become this beautiful thing just on its own. No, how did Michelangelo sculpt the David? He cut away everything that was not the David. So if you think about that for yourself, cutting away the worry, cutting away the doubt, cutting away the insecurities, cutting away every thought that really takes you out of the knowing, the truth of the beauty. The David was already there. It was already there. Michelangelo just had to sculpt away, chip away at that which was not the David. So that's what you want to do. You want to chip away at those things that are not the truth of who you are. That's it. That is it. And just to know it's all inside of you. So you want to really, as I said, ask yourself, what does it mean to own my beauty? And to ask God to release your brilliance, to help you release your brilliance. And so that's really the solution to looking outside of yourself to validate you. looking for your significance outside of yourself, looking to be seen outside of yourself, looking to feel wanted, liked, lovable. We want to, the solution is to go inside. Solution is to go inside. And that is what Diana did. And when Diana recognized that she was so loved by God and that that was the truth of who she was, she started setting boundaries with her husband. She started speaking up. She started not just setting boundaries with her husband, but with her sister and with other people who she had found herself tongue-tied with in the past. And once she started doing that, guess what happened? She blossomed and expanded and felt the beauty of who she was. And guess what? Her husband started to respect her more, listen to her more, appreciate her more, because she was standing in her truth, showing up in her truth, not looking for it outside of herself. And energetically, that created a shift in her husband and other people around her. So most of all, most importantly, it was that she was owning the truth of who she was. She knew it to the core of her being. And that ended her search outside of herself. It ended her endless cycling thoughts of not being enough and not being lovable and not being significant. So the same is possible for you. And so if you would love to chip away at those things that are causing you not to see the beauty of who you are, to be that you are like the David. Yes, you are beautiful. And it just, all the things that are the grudge, the slime that are blocking your brilliance from coming forth, that need to be chipped away. If you are up for doing that, if you want to do that, if you crave to let go of really allowing other people to determine your value, I would love to help you with it. It is my mission to help you gain emotional freedom. And that is key to your success in your life. Emotional freedom. What would it be like for you to feel peace, no matter what anybody said to you? What would it be like for you to be able to feel grounded in the knowing of who you are, no matter what anybody else said or did? What would it be like to show up as your authentic self without feeling the need to people please or do whatever it is that your default might be in order to gain the significance that you crave? It's exhausting. What would it be like to give that up and to be able to have more energy so that you could live your day and be more fully present for other people, not worried about what this one said, because that's taking your mind and it's not allowing you to be present in the situation for your kids or your job? What is that worth to you? Well, if you would like to move forward and to clear away and chip away, I would love to help you with that. That's what I do. That's the gift that God gave me, is to help you chip away at those things. So set up a time to chat with me. Let's look at what plan we can make for you to really chip away at all those things that cause your lack of self-esteem and confidence in being able to show up knowing your significance without looking outside of yourself. So I'm going to post the link for that, but I will tell you to go to Call with Sherry, SHERRI, and the number 2.com to book a time to chat with me. Let's chip away and present the world with you, the essence of you, your beauty because you are. All right. Thank you so much for being with me today. I am so privileged and honored to be a guide on your journey, and I do not take that lightly. Thank you for being with me, and I treasure all of you. Thank you so much. Bye for now.